We've got more news for the masses. This is the Kings of Rice,
This is Ultima.
and this is MGT Cast.
Yeah, buddy.
Um, a little tidbit of information. It's not going to be super long unless we're probably going to fill it to 10 minutes. But one, my nose is itchy, and it just bothers the fuck out of me. It's just like this
And that
itch in
has
my
been
nose.
a report from MGT.
But that's not.
I'm just kidding.
But that's not the news.
Exactly.
So we've got more Final Fantasy VII news for everyone. It's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be what do you say? It's not gonna be full of like news you can just
Yeah, it's not a ton of news.
It's
It's
not.
just sort of
It's
a
kind of just a big. It's just kind of one like tidbit of news that's worth putting in there.
yeah.
So Square Enix has gone on record and basically said that they are clarifying the nature of the remake. And okay, so at first, basically, what really happened was, well, not what really happened. We're just gonna go backwards here for a second. But when they first announced it, and they showed the trailer and all that stuff and all that good stuff. They told the masses that that the Final Fantasy VII remake was going to be a 3-part episodic.
Yeah.
And so they pretty much they didn't really tell us anything outside of like, hey, it's going to be episodic. And basically they let our imaginations run away with it. And so like so what they really clarified was that it says Square Enix has clarified the episodic nature of its Final Fantasy VII remake, stating it will be comprised of multiple full-size games instead of a series of smaller episodes. So that is so if you put that in perspective, that's pretty much what they did with Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah. And so what they said about that was that it'll be a full-scale game for each part of the multi-part series. In 13, each installment told the story from a different angle. It was kind of approaching an unknown territory in a sense. So my assumption is that one of these games is going to be basically a 7 remake, pretty much how the normal way we've come to expect it.
So whereas in with Final Fantasy VII remake we have a pre-existing story, so it wouldn't really make sense that it isn't encompassed in a multi-part series. So if we're just looking at each of these parts, one should be on par with the scale of one Final Fantasy 13 game.
Yeah. So what it seems like is they're going to expand either from, whether that's more stuff that happens after the game, whether it's stuff that happens before. We don't know, but it seems more like 13 was, because like 13, that was a whole story, and the game could have ended there, more or less,
Yeah, and so we're gonna quote this here. It says, "I, along with Tetsuya Nomura-san and Kazushige Nojima-san, who are involved with the remake, we're also involved with the original Final Fantasy." Kitase said, we were the people who created, so in the sense we don't think anything is untouchable. That isn't to say we're changing everything. So basically, like things that worked in the game before, I mean, it's hard to point out like what in the game didn't work, but I'd imagine for their taste, like they're probably gonna change like things that probably need a little bit beefing up, and like things that didn't have enough depth in the game, maybe they're gonna add depth in there.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing would probably be, my assumption is maybe they're just gonna try to shore up the lore aspects.
I wouldn't hate it if they, with all top of the side quests they already have, and they put more in there, so so we can get more playability out of it.
Yeah.
Because if once you've completed the whole like once you've like 100% of the game, it pretty much like it pretty much seems like the game doesn't actually have that much. But well, at least that's how I looked at it. But I did play it like another 4 or 5 times after that. So I mean,
yeah, I'd probably say outside of the main story, other than getting all the master materia, there's not a ton of side quests. Well, I guess end game there's not a ton of side quests. Like there's side stuff you could do on the way, but like to an extent. But
I mean, really really the end game stuff really just comprised of chocobo breeding and killing weapons. That pretty much
yeah, it's
like
chocobo breeding, killing weapons, and then getting all the master material. Which the master material for the most part, other than which was half chocobo breeding, half grinding materia, um, and stuff. So, yeah, maybe more side missions or just more bosses. Another thing is like, just a thought is like, how many weapons there were, but you only fought Diamond and Ultima. I mean, you did fight Emerald and Ruby, but you didn't see those guys in the cutscene. But out of the ones that were in the cutscenes, you only fought Ultima and Diamond.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
actually,
I think the other one's killed in. I think the other one's killed by the Junon cannon. But I don't know. Maybe
yeah, the
like
one in the
you
water
fight
was
the
killed by
remnants
the
of it
Junon
or
cannon.
something. Who knows?
Diamond you fight, but Diamond gets killed
Oh yeah, by
off
the other cannon again.
by the
Sister Ray.
now Midgar cannon taken from Junon.
Yeah.
So I mean, we might let's just say hopefully they add a little bit more like what's actually hidden in this world that we haven't seen yet. That's kind of what I'm like hoping for.
Yeah, I think if because the thing is they expanded so much of the lore after the fact.
Yeah, because there's so much more in there. Like now we know we know how 13 plays out. I wonder if it's gonna play out on the on a similar scale. Like we're just the only thing I'm concerned about outside of what more they could do to the game is like how much how much time is going to be after this game, or if it's going to be like you said, is there going are they going to do prequel, sequel, or or if it is going to be a third a game that doesn't really make sense. Well, I doubt they do that, but
and here's the other thing is they already did Crisis Core on the PSP, which
yeah,
was that was
prequel.
That was a prequel, and
it was
Cerberus was a sequel.
It's a Zack prequel.
Yeah,
it's really like the events of what Zack had to go through all the way up until the start of Final Fantasy VII, and then Cloud took over after that.
Yeah.
Dirge of Cerberus was after Advent Children, and then it was after Advent Children, and then but you were in Vincent's perspective with enemies that appeared, I guess, that were looking to wreak havoc.
Yeah, and so I think and they said different angles, so my assumption is that the first game is probably just going to be the straight up remake, and then the other two would probably be not from Cloud's perspective, because actually maybe one of the other ones, but it sounds like my assumption would be at least one of the games would be not from Cloud's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, let's just
because 13 was Lightning, but also everyone else, and then there's Lightning Returns, but the second
was
13
was her sister Sarah.
Yeah, so maybe there's more Zack backstory.
Maybe we're looking for an encompassing journey we haven't really heard of yet.
Yeah,
or maybe that's only in I guess you could say in in novel form, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some stories that weren't told, I
think the exciting thing about this is it makes it seem like Final Fantasy VII Remade is going to be its own experience, and then there's more coming with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we thought before, which was like, oh god, they're going to release
the thing,
Final Fantasy VII Telltale.
Yeah, because I agree with you. The whole the first game, which is 7, is was gonna be his own experience. I mean, it's cool because we get to relive our experiences over again, modernized.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it opens up to it opens it up to, you know, more modern times for people who, you know, for the younger generation who've never seen this, you know, who've never like actually like witnessed what it is we had to go through,
Yeah.
uh, but it gives them a good chance to, you know, to pretty much like live what we lived, except, you know, they're like,
We
you
can
know,
only hope better. You
yeah,
know.
we can. I mean, I'm gonna say, I mean, I'm just gonna say it's
Yeah.
gonna be it's gonna be better because,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know,
the assumption is it should be. You know.
yeah, because
Um.
I'm more of a, you know, with the times gamer than like, you know,
Yeah. No, I get it. I
I'm gonna hope for the best always.
I am too. I'm gonna hope for the best, but I guess there's just a small part of me that's feeling a little worried they might, you know.
Honestly, like, I don't, if they mess it up, we're all gonna be mad, obviously, but it's not like the original seven is gonna be gone forever.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I think
we could always run away to it.
they know that this is not something that they just can't,
Well, I
you
mean
know.
that goes
But
as
I
the
think the good news is that 15 comes out first, so I think 15 will be a good gauge of like, you know, where they're going with
well, I
this.
mean, looking at it like that, that seems kind of unfair for 15's part because it had to deal with a lot of scrutiny already. But now we're gonna hold a candle up to it. Now we're gonna hold it up to the microscope and be like,
Well,
are we are basically what we're gonna say is like, is it just like, you know, is it just a filler for what's to come?
I don't know.
Like
I don't
how
know.
it can't, it's not going to be
Yeah.
able to stand on its own in the shadow of another of a game that has, you know, that doesn't even belong, like, you know, doesn't belong to.
Well,
And
I don't think. I think I
like
just mean like, you know, how well 15 is done is like a good indication. Like if 15 comes out and it's like, well, you know, because I feel like there's a lot of hype around Final Fantasy 15.
well, I mean that Final Fantasy's hyped up already anyway,
Yeah, and so like
as a whole,
if Final Fantasy
because
15 lives up to the hype, it's like, you know, I think that just makes you more excited for 7 because it's like, all right, Square seems to be in a really good place right now. If 15 doesn't deliver, then it's like, oh man, you know, um, not saying that I think it won't. I'm just saying,
yeah, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you have to you have to wonder at the interpretations of others who, you know, who listen to you talk, because it's like, oh, I mean I'm looking at it in a way where it's like, you know, I'm gonna be hopeful if 15 is gonna be good, but I'm not gonna any, at least for me, I'm not gonna anywhere like gauge like how, if that's gonna affect 7 at all, because, you know, you're basically, I want to say, for the most basic of things, you're taking a game that already exists, right?
yeah,
And you're just adding to it.
yeah,
So I mean, besides taking like, you know, changing what's already been made, like say the battle system,
mm-hmm.
I mean that's like so far the biggest change. And like, you know, I'm not gonna say it's like how, you know, how much more can they mess up on it, because it's like you could only take something as a base and make it better for the I guess you want to say hope for the best, I guess, because it's like, you know, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna worry about it too much, because, you know, then I'm gonna look at 15 and be like what it like it's almost like taking, it's like taking two TV shows and be like, you know, I mean they belong in the same, like, you know, I guess you could say universe,
Yeah,
but at the same time, you know, you're, it's like or it's always like the debate. It's like, is 7 better than 8, or is 8 better than 7? It's like, it's like as a whole they're their own game. So it's like, you know,
oh, okay, yeah. So you mean like comparing Final Fantasies in general? It's like,
yeah, it's honestly just like
is 10 better than 9? Is
it's
6 better than 5? Stuff
yeah,
like
it's
that.
pedantic. Um,
Yeah,
we're just being pedantic. So it's like, you know, I want to say like I want to say leave the opinions until after, like, you know, until after everything comes out, because, you
yeah.
know,
Did we? I can't remember. Did we make guesses on when we think the 7 remake will come out?
we did in this I think we did in the first
Well, I guess the hard part was back then we thought it was going to be episodes, so
Yeah, that's true.
I guess if the first one's a full game, like, 16 comes out this year, so what are your thoughts on a release window?
I'm gonna say at the earliest late next year, and then I'm gonna shoot for at the earliest, late next year,
Yeah.
or early 2019.
You mean 2018 or
No, early 2019.
no? So you mean like that's
I'm gonna say at the latest.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh,
At least for
at
me.
the latest.
I'm gonna go at its earliest.
Yeah.
At its earliest, late next year, like late 2017, early 2018, or early 2019 at the latest.
All
so
right. So they announced it last year, which was 2015, right?
Yeah.
Usually when Square announces Final Fantasy, it's usually been in development at least a year or so. So let's say they started in late 2013, 2014.
Yeah, we'll just go with that.
I'm gonna go spring 2018.
Okay. Was that earliest or latest?
Or probably earliest. I would love for it to be early. Well, I guess holiday 2017 to spring 2018. That's my guess for when it comes out.
Oh yeah, early. I'm gonna go with that for that. I guess if we're using seasons, I'm gonna go like end of winter, which is like the end of January.
Yeah.
Because like February isn't really winter; it's pre-spring.
Yeah. I'm thinking like November to like April 2017 to 2018, somewhere in that 5-month window.
Okay. So, and I don't even want to talk about like release dates for those other two because I think that one's not gonna be for a while.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I don't even remember what was the length of time between the 13s. Was it like 2 years each?
Fuck, I don't know. Let's just quickly look that up, I guess. Let's see, Final Fantasy 13. Let's see. PS3. Well, PS3. Well, what the fuck? Wait, I'm losing it here. Okay, so PlayStation, March 9th, 2010. Why does it say PS3 only, like the release date? They have two worldwide dates, but one is March 9th, and the other is December 16th the same year. But it came out in Japan December 17th, 2009. Whatever, 2010.
Yeah, that's about right.
2 years. 2 years between 10-2 and 13, and then Lightning Returns is for another 2 years. So it's like a 2-year cycle.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, then if that's the case, I'm gonna go spring 2018 because that would make 2022. That would be 25 years.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But at the same time, I want to think by then, like 25 years. I want to say they're gonna like even be like, maybe even talking about another game by then.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm saying that would be the third one.
Oh, I mean, at the same time, yeah. You release a third one and like a new.
Yeah. Or who knows? Maybe another movie or something.
Maybe.
Another Advent Children type thing.
Well, that'd be kind of cool. So before we get too sidetracked.
Yeah.
That first half was pretty much just news. Second half, opinion and just banter. Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think. Tell us when you think the games are gonna come out. Tell us what you think about
Yeah. What do you think this means? Do you think this means one game and then at least one other one from someone else's perspective?
Yeah.
What do you think they mean when they say 3 full games?
And also, I want to hear from everyone, because I want to hear from people that people in our age group.
Yeah.
That that played it when we were young, and then people who haven't played it, but they're reading into the hype and seeing and maybe talking about they want to play this game because
Yeah.
experiences is a thing. So I want to hear from everyone. So without further ado, this is the Kings of Rice.
This is Ultimate.
Peace out.